Hey guys, welcome back to Daniel's Balls, and today we're going to be doing an in-depth video about all of my snakes, my two snakes, and one of which is Snowball right here. We're just going to look at their enclosures, how I feed them, where I got them, how I got them, a little bit about everything about them. So let's just do it. So let's just start with Snowball right here. Snowball is a blue-eyed leucistic ball python, and that's basically a gene, it's a mutation, where it turns her coloring all white. She has two genes, Lesser and Mojave, and they together create the all-white snake, and so she is an all-white snake, and that's really special. I think she's really pretty, and she's so sweet. I got her last year, because it's 2020 now. I got her in July of last year, and she was actually my second snake. Socks is my other snake that I'll show you next, and he's a corn snake. And she eats medium adult frozen thawed mice every week or so. She's really great, and she's growing a lot. She was definitely not this big when I got her, and she's about 10 months old. Alright, so right here we have Snowball's tank, and this is in my closet on a rack, and Socks is right below it. I have her hide. This is another hide. This is her coolest hide. This is her warm hide. I have some climbing, some leaves, water dish, and I use coconut husk bedding for her, just because of the humidity. It gets held really well with the coconut husk, and that's a big thing when you're keeping ball pythons. You want to keep the humidity high in the enclosure. She's been in this her entire life that I've had her, and when she gets bigger, I'll upgrade her to a different size, a bigger size. But for now, this is perfect for what she's in. I use a under tank heater for her heating. When you're using an under tank heater, you want to make sure that the temperature is regulated. You don't want it to be too hot or too cold. They could burn or they could stop working. So I use it. I haven't had any trouble with it. But if you are concerned about that, you can use something like a heat lamp or something. And that would just go on top of the warm side. You want to make sure that the hide is big enough so that they can fit inside of it, but not too big that they feel stressed. And sometimes she even hides under a water dish. So that's her enclosure. And when I'm feeding her, I'll just open the lid like this, put it down, and I'll use my feeding tongs, and I'll just warm the mouse in warm water, take it out of the bag, dangle it over here. She'll strike, and then she eats it. And that's really simple, and that's really it for her feeding. She has eaten live mice before, but I have moved her over to frozen thawed. One of the reasons is that it prevents her from getting attacked from the mouse, and also it's just really consistent. You can buy a couple, feed them whenever you need to. While we're here, and while I can, I'm gonna plug her Instagram at snowball_the_snack. I'll put it up on the screen right wherever, so you guys can go follow her on Instagram. She's almost at 1,000 followers, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Daniel's Balls, and that way you can keep up with updates about new videos if you don't have post notifications on when you're subscribed. This is a terrible time to do this, but I'm doing it anyways. And that's about it for Snowball. Let's move on to Socks. And this is Socks. Socks is a corn snake. He is a wild-caught snake, and he's not imported. I caught him in my backyard. And I know there's a lot of controversy about wild-caught snakes, and I don't endorse it. I'm not saying it's the best thing to do. Most definitely will not be doing it in the future. But it's a lot different from imported snakes. They're usually treated harshly when they're imported from other countries or from across the country. He's native to my area. It's not invasive. He's also on frozen thawed mice. He eats a smaller mouse. He eats an adult small mouse. And I feed him usually at the same time as Snowball. They're naturally docile, and they're not venomous or or anything. They're completely harmless, just like ball pythons and many other of the colubrid snakes. He's just a good boy. He's just a goob. Let's look at his enclosure. Can you just... Alright, so this is Socks's tank. It's right beneath Snowball's. They're on the same rack. And he's in a 10-gallon tank. He has his two highs right here. He spends so much time in this, I never see him out. He's always in here. And this is his cool side, and this is his warm side. He has his water dish behind there. And I use aspen bedding for him because corn snakes are a more arid species. They prefer a drier climate and drier substrate. So I use aspen because you don't really want to use aspen for really high humidity species. But I put a lot of bedding in here because he loves to dig. He's always digging tunnels. There's so many tunnels that you guys can see in here. I also use an under tank heater. So this is the bedding that I use for him. This is just aspen snake bedding by Zoo-Med, not sponsored yet. You want to change the bedding every month or so, and just spot clean when they go to the bathroom. I use this bedding for her. This is just natural tropical cocoa husk. There's also like the cocoa fiber that I've used in her tank before, and I also use it in his, but I switched both of theirs just to accommodate for both of them. But this is Socks's tank, and I just use a lock on here. It's not locked, but it is on, and that's just so that they can't get out. And it's more for Snowball than Socks. Socks probably could get out, but she's really strong. I want to move down a little bit here. We've got some supplies. I just keep my feeding tongs, my thermometer, my digital thermometer, and this is really good if you don't have like a probe one. Like I don't have a probe one, but I use this to check the temperature, the ambient temperature in the tank and on the heat and on the warm side. And I just have some tubs here, some small tubs that I keep like moss in and stuff like that. This right here is a bigger tub that I use for baths. That's pretty much about it in here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the second video on the channel, and I enjoyed making it. And this was just, an overview about the snakes. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys again soon.